Real Madrid got absolutely slammed by Atleti. And genuinely speaking, a lot of things did go wrong. However, the person mostly to blame for this is obviously Carlo Ancelotti. And I don't think anyone can actually argue that or argue against it. In the past year, Real Madrid have been absolutely embarrassed a bunch of times. And all those embarrassments, for me, in my opinion, should have been sackable offenses. Like look against Manchester City and Barcelona. 4-0 losses to both of those teams. And the one constant in both of those games, and now the game against Atleti, is Carlo Ancelotti. If you have seen some of my videos, you would know that I'm not exactly too happy with Ancelotti being the coach of Real Madrid. I obviously respect and appreciate all he has done for this club, but he just isn't a good enough coach anymore to coach Real Madrid. I feel that people, or at least people who don't watch Real Madrid every single week, every single game like I do, and like most hardcore Real Madrid fans, they don't see what exactly occurs during the games. They probably think he's an amazing coach still. And honestly, I could see that. I mean, he won La Liga and he won the Champions League just recently. So from the outside looking in, there is absolutely no reason to think he's still not a world class coach. However, the truth is far from it. Real Madrid is one of the biggest clubs in the world, so they're obviously going to be blessed with talented players. And a lot of these players also have the clutch factor in them. So these teams that Ancelotti has had over the past 2 years didn't win because Ancelotti's tactics. They won just because of their own individual magic. They're players that can change the game just by themselves. We saw it before it was Benzema, then it was Vinny, then it was Vinny and Benzema, and now since Vinny's injured, it's Bellingham. This clutch factor that they all have genuinely just bails Ancelotti out, and it makes the team look better than it is because they're all just so talented. However, there's been many occasions where the magic just isn't there for some games, and they managed to shut off Vinicius, they managed to shut off Bellingham, or when Benzema just wasn't there because he was injured last season. And at that time, Ancelotti's actually forced to coach. And usually the outcome is that he has no idea what to do. He looks lost. We have seen it multiple times. His tactics just really don't do anything. His tactics, no matter what, it basically sums up as force the ball to Vinny and hope he can do something. And now it's force the ball to Bellingham and force he can do something. That's just not a sustainable way to play football. And when you have seen it multiple times fail. When we come up against a team that genuinely is really good defensively and just have a good solid structure, there's absolutely no way we can get through them. And Ancelotti just doesn't adjust. This isn't a one-off. This has been happening for a long time now. I mean, there is a reason why, especially recently, Real Madrid are always known to make a comeback. It's because we always put ourselves in that position because Ancelotti has no tactics, so our players have to work their magic, and eventually it usually does work, but sometimes it doesn't. Ancelotti's best attribute is the fact that he lets our players play freely. He lets them genuinely do whatever they want on the field. But sometimes he just actually has to coach these guys. It isn't sustainable to expect that Vinny or Bellingham will always score those goals when we need them to. Now let's get into the Real Madrid Atleti game. That's what I really want to talk about. Real Madrid have been unbeaten so far at the start of the season. I mean, they've won every single game. So my only question is, why on earth would Ancelotti choose this game specifically, the most important game of the season so far, to adjust things and change things tactically and start a new formation? Like, it makes no sense. Why would he choose this game? Modric and Cruz are still world-class players. However, they both don't have the legs on them anymore to start games together. And it has been shown repeatedly in multiple games. And Tchouaméni has been amazing so far this season. So why on earth would he bench him? This game was made for a player like Tchouaméni, a nice physical player. And it showed because he subbed him on almost instantly when he realized he made a mistake. And now Joselu isn't the best striker in the world, but so far in the season, Fran Garcia's crosses to Joselu have been clutch for Real Madrid to get a couple points. When they're in that tight spot, Fran Garcia sending crosses to Joselu always seems to uplift the team. Because no matter what, they will get on target. Like, even if he scores them or not, the ball will get to Joselu. But for some reason, he benched him this game. It makes no sense. After the game, Ancelotti came out and said that he changed the lineup and changed the tactics because he felt like having one more midfielder in there would help us keep more possession. But again, that doesn't make sense. Since when is Atleti a team that's gonna be fighting for possession? With the lineup we always played, we would have had enough possession. It makes no sense. I don't remember the last time Atleti fought us for possession. Even Simeone came out and said that having Joselu on the bench made the game a lot easier for Atletico de Madrid, and it showed. No matter what Ancelotti says, the way he says that the team lined up is not how they played. It was basically Rodrigo up in front against three giant Atleti center backs. Like, in what world is that okay to happen? First of all, Rodrigo isn't a striker to begin with, but now you're going to force him to play striker alone against three defensively sound center backs, Ancelotti got everything wrong this game for absolutely no reason. He had no reason to change anything. Like he said, we've been unbeaten so far this season. So why adjust things? Why change things when it's been working so far? Everything this team has been doing so far, even though they've been scraping by and winning these games, they've still been winning. But he changed it. I just don't understand what thought process was going into that when he decided to change everything. Well, that's it for this rant. I don't know. I hope honestly I want Ancelotti sacked, but I still respect everything he's done for this club. But yeah, if you agree or disagree with anything I said, please leave a comment. Also, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and catch you in the next one.